All right, what's up, everybody? We're going to take our first peek at latitudes and longitudes as part of the mapping thing that we've been working on. And we're going to do it using two different pages of the reference tables, this guy and this guy, which should be printed out and in front of you. You're also going to need two different colors of colored pencils. So pause now and go grab that. And now that you're back, the world map, the way that it's broken down in your reference tables, is maybe a little bit tricky. Latitude's not so bad. I'll start with latitude. I'm going to do red. You pick whatever color you got in front of you, right? So latitude, like our big reference line, is the equator. So draw a line. You might want to grab a ruler too. Pause again, go get a ruler. But draw a line that's right across, right there. And then, I know it's kind of small, but over here, maybe label it equator. All right, that's not so bad to figure out. People usually do okay with this. And then up from that is north, down from that is south, right? The one that's harder is dealing with longitude. So here's what we're going to do. Get another line, which I'm going to remember any minute here. I'm going to do mine in blue. We're going to go from 0 to 0 over here. Okay? Now that is called the prime meridian. You can't see here. There we go, prime meridian. And we're going to do more with all this. This is just going to be really like an intro, because we got to figure out how do we know what these latitudes are? How do we know what these longitudes are? There's a lot behind this. But today, let's just start to get it on paper and start to see how the Earth is like gridded out and how we made sense out of this. So equator is 0 latitude, prime meridian is 0 longitude. But there's another important day that goes with this, another important line. And a lot of times what I do with this, I don't know if I have this feature here. If I want to do a line, can I do a dotted line? Sweet. All right. Do a dotted line over here at 180. That's what really is the opposite side of the prime meridian. If I had a globe in front of me, which I can magically do here in a minute. There it is. The prime meridian goes through Greenwich, England over here. The back half of that on the other side, that's the international date line. So like the equator is one big, it's called a great circle, a circle that goes all the way around. That thing's dusty. The prime meridian and international date line also make one big loop. Now, what that does for us, now we've got like basically the four quadrants we need, and where New York State made your reference table a little bit extra confusing, and I don't know why, is that this little strip right here, like this looks like 6 pieces, but it's really 4. So let me explain what I mean by that. From the prime meridian, if you go this way, where we live in North America, we'll do that with a regular pen though. If you go this way, that's the Western Hemisphere. If you go the other way, it's the East. And what it is they gave you from 0 to 20 right there, East. And then it's like it goes off the map and comes back on over on this side. And there's the other chunk of it. Those are the East longitudes. Okay, that's it. I understand that it's weird. I wish it wasn't this way, but East is broken up there and there. The 180 degrees of West is nice and easy to see. The 180 degrees of East is broken up into 2 strips. Why? I don't know. New York State is weird sometimes. Latitudes, usually people struggle less with latitudes. This is the Northern Hemisphere, north of the equator. This is the Southern Hemisphere, south of the equator. So what I'm going to have in your little classwork is going to be just which of the 4 zones is this thing, right? I'll try to find some spots or whatever. So we could just label them right now, and then those questions will be pretty easy. So if you're in this box right here, where North America is, basically those are all going to be north latitudes. Does that green show up very well? Those are all going to be north latitudes and west longitudes, right? If you're south of the equator here, those are all going to be south latitudes and west longitudes. If you're either in this strip or this chunk, so I'll leave it to you, write it twice if you want. I think that's going to make life easiest. This is going to be north and east. Also, this is north and east because it's really the same box. It's just like half on the map and half off. This is southeast. And And then again, come on over here, and this is southeast. So again, we're going to get more specific with this. We got more work to do, but opening day of latitudes and longitudes, let's just figure out which of the 4 quadrants a couple of different features are. Deal? Then we'll do this for New York, where let's this is more zoomed in. We can get to a better detail. So New York is right about there, right next to you. You can kind of see Lake Ontario and Lake Erie right there. So roughly right here, right? But way more zoomed in so we can get way more accurate with our numbers. So what I'm going to have you do, again, with your 2 different colors, is to draw some lines. And we're going to do, it's easiest if we do the latitudes first. So we're going to do 45 to 45. That's a latitude. I'm going to use red because I used red for latitude before. I don't know if that people get bothered by that or not. Mine might not be perfect. You use a ruler, colored pencil, do the best you can. 44 to 44. 43 to 43. That's not good. 42 to 42. 41 to 41. And there's actually 3 of them there. That's handy. And that's it. There's no 40. That'd be south of here. There's this 40 degree and 30-minute thing, which introduces a whole new headache. Don't worry for right now. So there's your main latitudes in New York. Longitudes, it's actually easy if you start over here in western New York. So start at 79, 78, and so on and so on. 74, 73. And you may notice that, I mean, mine's not great because I went really fast. You may notice if you do it, even if you do it really carefully, they're not all perfectly lined up like a grid. Remember, we live on a spherical Earth, and putting that spherical Earth projected onto a flat piece of paper for a map leads to some slight distortions. But that's going to give us the gist of it. Now, the ugly part of this is that we've got to figure out what these like crazy minutes things are. But honestly, today I don't want to do it because I want us to get just the basics on how latitudes and longitudes in New York work. In real life, what we're going to have to do when we start to figure these out is say that there's 42 to 43. If you're halfway, you're 42 degrees in 30 minutes. Let's ignore that and just use the decimal system that people are probably pretty comfortable with. So if you're halfway between 42 and 43, we'll call it 42.5. If you're halfway between 76 and 77, we'll call it 76.5. And we'll save figuring out this minutes thing for a future class. That's a problem for another time. So Ithaca, for example, looks like it's maybe not quite halfway, so maybe 42.4 degrees north and 76, it almost looks like it's right on there, so 76.5 degrees west. But that'll be it. I'll have you find a couple of those. It won't be too bad. With the caveat being, make sure you pay attention to the idea that latitudes count going up. You're going away from the equator there in the northern hemisphere, so they're all north latitudes. And longitudes are counting this way. Your lower numbers are on the right, and your higher numbers are on the left, because we are in the western hemisphere. So the prime meridian is way over that way, right? Prime meridian is a whole bunch of degrees over here off screen to the right. And we count away from that going westerly and by this many degrees, 73, 74, 75, and so on. Okay, so once you have all of these lined up on your little piece of paper, then you can jump into the classwork, take a stab at that, see how that goes, and we'll have opened the door for latitude, longitude. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. Good luck.